Hi, my name is Mark Cipher. I'm here today to tell you about the course that I'll be teaching. It's called Nikola Tesla, The Life and Times of Nikola Tesla. And what I'm going to do is cover his entire life in the six classes that we have. We'll start with his childhood, and then, of course, he worked with Tom Edison. And later, there was the War of the Currents. And then he worked with George Westinghouse, and they lit the Chicago World's Fair. We'll talk about the Chicago World's Fair. And there was a race as to whether AC or DC would be used to harness Niagara Falls, which was the big prize. And Edison had DC, and Tesla and Westinghouse had AC, and Tesla and Westinghouse win this battle of the currents. And so he becomes the inventor. He speaks at Niagara Falls as the inventor of the hydroelectric power system. He also invented the induction motor, fluorescent neon lights. And then he went on to work in New York City. He lived at the Waldorf Astoria, and he had a remote control robotic boat. I think that machine alone was deserving of a Nobel Prize. He didn't get a Nobel Prize, although he was nominated for a Nobel Prize, and so was Edison nominated. So we'll discuss the Nobel Prize affair. And then he tried to build his huge wireless tower out on Long Island, and he was funded by J.P. Morgan, who was the richest, most powerful man in the world at the time. So we'll discuss the ins and outs of that deal and how he raced Marconi, and how Marconi beat him in sending an impulse across the Atlantic Ocean with inferior equipment. And then there was a huge lawsuit in 1915 when Tesla was working for Telefunken and also for the U.S. Navy. Franklin Roosevelt was the Assistant Secretary of the Navy, and we'll discuss that lawsuit. And then in later life, Tesla had invented a particle beam weapon, and we'll discuss a lot, which is in my second book, Tesla Wizard at War, that he was negotiating with the British War Office with General Andrew McNaughton, who was associate Winston Churchill. And also, I have a letter signed by, I don't know the letter itself, but a letter signed by Franklin Roosevelt wanting to meet with Tesla because the particle beam weapon was very important. Because if the Nazis got the atom bomb, we might have needed this death ray to shoot down a plane that might carry the atom bomb. So we'll discuss all of that. I've taught psychology for 40 years at various colleges, and I'm looking very forward to teaching this class with you guys.